As well as a teacher teaching drawing in these videos, I'm also an artist pursuing and developing my own drawing experience and practice. And I feel that this year has been a very significant year in pushing forward my own drawing development. And so I thought I would share the key points in my thinking and working, which have led to a far greater development of my drawing style than I would have anticipated at the start of the year. And at the end, I'll show you a couple of my favorite drawings that I've done for videos and explain why I've chosen them. I have 4, and 3 of them overlap into each other, and yet I think are also individually worthy of particular attention. So we'll start with the one that doesn't overlap. And the first thing I think that's happened more this year than in past years is that I've pushed my own personal boundaries in my drawing. And I've done this in 2 ways. I've done this both in novelty, and by novelty I simply mean new things, subjects that I haven't drawn before. And I think because I've had a couple of series of subjects for beginners or easy subjects, I've departed from the heavily architecture and streetscape based subject matter that I've used up until now. I have to say, some of the most challenging subjects that I've drawn have been the ones that have been the most simplest, and I'm thinking of that Art Deco jug or vase, whatever it was. With its very simple curves and minimal decoration, gave me no space to hide any lines that weren't quite in the right place. But there have been ships and ferries and garden implements, household items, suitcases stacked on a wardrobe. There have been all manner of things that have forced my brain to apply the sorts of principles that I use when I draw in totally new areas. And that has been very helpful, not just for those new areas, but it gives fresh insight when I go back to, if you like, my more favorite, my more common drawing subjects. I feel like I've had a greater ability to perceive exactly what I'm trying to do in these more familiar subjects and work out ways to do it. And of course, pushing ourselves in the difficulty with things we draw is always a good way to grow and an important part of learning any skill, as long as we don't push ourselves further than we can succeed in. Otherwise, we simply learn to do things badly. But once we feel that we're very comfortably producing work of a similar standard with similar sorts of challenges and subject matter, then it's good to push further and to add elements that we might feel that we have to struggle a bit with. And of course, we can always practice those elements on their own. And that's something I've done as well in my art practice this year. We don't need to have a whole drawing around what we're doing to be learning, because it's not about producing artworks, it's about learning to draw. And for the 3 types of focus I've had this year in my drawing that I think overlap, the most logical one to put first is my focus on trying to draw the overall effect of the scene, not to be drawing the objects. When I look at a scene, when I look at a reference, look at something in front of me, I'm thinking overall, what do I want to capture from here? That it's not just a series of mechanical copying this object, copying that object, and putting them in the right relationship spatially with each other. But it's what scene, but it's more what feel do I have overall from what I'm looking at? What is compelling about this? What parts of this scene are jumping out at me, making it appeal to me, and in fact, making me want to draw it to capture in some way what's in front of me. So how can I capture that overall scene in a way that captures not just the precision of what I see, but also the feel of what I see, the way all the elements work together and the particular emphases that come out from what I'm most drawn to look at. Problem with a photo is the entire scene is presented to us in painstaking detail. That's not what happens when we look at a scene. We have one focus where our eyes focus, and the further we move out towards the edges of our field of vision, the less distinct what we see is. It's really an expansion of my teaching on drawing the effect of detail rather than the precise accuracy of the detail. except it's taken it wider into not just the detail on an object, but all of the detail in the scene. And I think this has particularly developed in the appeal to me of drawing my local bushland scenes. Complex subjects that require some management of the visual overload that we see if we're to capture them in a way that reflects the appeal of what I'm seeing in the first place. The second focus I've had, which I think has really helped my personal drawing development this year, is an increasing focus on edges. And by that, I mean to really work hard at perceiving the effect of the edge, of looking in more detail, exactly what am I seeing here? Not thinking, oh, there's an edge, I'll draw a line to capture the edge. But instead saying, is it a nice, clean, straight, smooth, hard, sharp edge, which is well captured by a straight ink line? But I've come to realize that a lot of the time, if not most of the time, edges are a far trickier, more subtle thing than can be captured in a straight line, particularly an ink straight line. And in fact, when we do that, we create a hardness, a sharpness, a definition to our subject that we simply do not have in life. That in reality, particularly when objects curve away from us, there is a variability in the way we perceive, in the way we define the edges of what we're seeing. The distance we're seeing various parts of that edge change. Some parts are curving away from us. Some parts are coming towards us. And a single unbroken line thickness is often inadequate to capture visually the reality of that to us. You've almost certainly heard me say this in some measure before. But my final focus, and probably the one that has been most important to me, is to focus on making marks on my paper, not drawing lines, and certainly not rushing to draw lines at the start. I continue my practice of making exploratory marks on a scrap of paper before I start drawing, using the pens that I intend to use, and just seeing if the marks that I'm thinking I'll put on the paper to capture the various challenging textures and objects of my scene are going to look as effective as I'm thinking they are, or whether I need a finer or a thicker pen, or whether I need to rethink how I'm going to draw something. Whether drawing it through positive space or negative space or some other way is going to be the most helpful thing. It's 2 to 5 minutes, and it's the most worthwhile 2 to 5 minutes. And once or twice, it's actually brought me to the conclusion that I'm not quite ready yet to draw this scene because I haven't solved the problem, not the problem so much, but the challenges of how to represent this reality through marks enough so that I'm able to create a drawing that I'm personally happy with. And so I put that subject away and I find another one. Again, if you've watched many of my videos, you'll know that I put marks on the paper, dots and little dashes and faint lines, broken lines, all manner of marks to help me plot out my scene, to help me work out where is the corner of this building going to go and how far down do these columns go and where will this tree canopy cover and so forth. But I'm not really talking about that now. They're not the marks I'm talking about. I'm talking about the marks to represent what I see. The marks to represent the edge of the tree canopy. The mark to represent the branches that are coming closest to me or that are furthest away or that I'm seeing through the tree. The marks that I'm going to use for the edge of the concrete steps, which in part are quite weathered and rounded, or the marks that I'll use to create the edge of a brick wall, which is fairly close. I can make out, if you like, the dimple between each brick where the surface goes in slightly and where the concrete is. How do I capture that? A heavy straight line that gives the effect of basically perhaps pressed and folded metal in terms of its smoothness, straightness and sharpness is not really going to capture the reality of this brick. And if it's weathered brick or knocked about, even less so. So the challenge is, what marks can I make? And this is why I need to do exploratory marks on my scrap of paper before I start, because every subject in every scene is different. And the corner of a brick wall in one scene will be very different in terms of its drawing technique from the corner of a brick wall in another scene. It's a mistake to think, oh, I know how to draw trees. I draw them this way, because that's going to be inadequate for many, many, many trees that we face and will lead us to compromise our marks. I no longer think in terms of, can I draw this or can I draw that? What I'm working at doing myself personally is to expand the range of marks that I put on paper to create my drawings, so that, if you like, I've got more tools to use, and that when I see an effect, because I'm looking at effects rather than objects, when I see visually an effect of my subjects or subjects, the way they're arranged and the distance they're at and all of that, I've got more tools, more possibilities of marks to capture that effect in a way that for me represents the scene, that captures the things in that scene that interest me. So that's where I'm at right now in my drawing, in my thinking, in the sorts of scenes I draw, in the ones that interest me, that challenge me. I don't know whether you're thinking, yes, I can see that now. For those of you who have been following my videos from last year, whether you can see what I'm talking about, and even whether you think it's an improvement or not. But it's certainly the conscious direction I've been trying to go in. I often talk about drawing as a journey, and for now, this is where the journey's taking me. Well, the sun's come out and straight away I can hear the cicadas, and I have an Australian blowfly flying around my ears. Well, that's been my focus. Let me show you a few of my favourite drawings from the year and explain why they appeal to me so much in terms of what I've been trying to do and what I've done. These are in no particular order, but we'll start with this small silver jug. Probably because it's a small object that I'm very familiar with, because we use it as a small vase. It was even more of a challenge to get the proportions right, but also to use lines that I felt captured the form and the shape well as the decorative elements. Again, my old boots that I drew, a very different type of subject that I've never drawn before, but I was very happy again with the marks, capturing something of the look of the old leather and the way it was holding the shadows and the shade. This flock of birds, again, a different subject for me, and so therefore more of a challenge. A lot of the ones I like more are ones which were particularly a challenge for me, that I know I had to push myself with. I suppose it's the added benefit of a bit of a sense of accomplishment on top of the actual drawing. But what I particularly liked about this scene was the way that these birds, I thought, worked in well together. The challenge of any subject such as this is not just to draw each individual bird well enough, but to get the overall scale correct, and to get a sense of they are together, that they're not just individually drawn cut and pasted birds stuck on the page. And even though it was a very minimalist context that I put them in, I did feel that the way marks that I put to indicate the grass and the shadows worked really did add a sense of reality to this scene. And the last one of these is this perhaps less common view of the Sydney Opera House, at least less common if you don't live in Sydney. It's not the iconic profile looking across Circular Quay view, but the one that we get when we're walking towards it, either to go to something there, simply to admire it, or perhaps crossing over the headland to enjoy the Botanic Gardens. I particularly like the way these marks indicated the crowd that we had here. And I like the way the sails appear to loom up above everything, which is the effect they have as you move closer towards them. My favourite drawing with marker is probably this view of the town of Katoomba in New South Wales. I was wanting to really create a sense of the strong light and the contrast between these brilliantly lit areas and the dark shadows and shade, as well as some significant areas of local colour as well. I'm very familiar with this location, and again, when I look at my drawing, I feel it really captures the feel of this place. I was absolutely mesmerized by the visual drama and impact of these towering ruins of this abbey on the northeast coast of England, and the impact of the crumbling stonework, both in the sense of it was still so massive in parts, and yet also very much in decay. With this drawing, what particularly pleased me was the variety of effects that I've created with the marks I've used, reflecting the actual weather-beaten, decaying and crumbling, falling down look that it had. I wasn't wanting to just capture the shape, the outline. I was wanting to capture the feeling of this very atmospheric location. The final drawings that really appeal to me are these captures of the Sydney bushland and the challenge of very, very dense and diverse undergrowth of different shapes and textures and edges and values, trying to capture the overwhelming detail and yet also allow places for the eye to both rest but also to discern. And the same sorts of solutions I've used here in different ways of wanting to capture the thick, almost engulfing undergrowth, but also to allow places of separation, of distinctiveness for the eye to read meaning into the complexity of the marks. And the final one of these, which felt like such a challenge, I almost didn't draw it, but where we've also got the strong contrast of value of light and dark, as well to navigate through the various shapes and forms and effects that we're trying to create in a relatively small space. And that's a very different challenge to this view of the Berlin Cathedral that I wanted to draw for a long time, but I did feel somewhat intimidated at the challenge of drawing this freehand with pen, of keeping the scale and the perspective angles correct, and also managing to capture the detail in a way that felt credible. Not too much, not too little. And this is one structure in Berlin that I really hope the city or the government replaces these modern domes and replace them with the beautiful Baroque domes that were originally there. I hope you've noticed that my personal favorite drawings are not necessarily the most complex drawings I drew. They're not necessarily the most beautiful scenes I drew. They're in fact scenes that challenged my ability to capture the effects that I was seeing in them, that in fact motivated me to want to draw them in the first place. What are the favorite things that you've drawn in this last 12 months? Can I suggest you look through whatever you've drawn, under whatever circumstances you drew it, and work out which ones please you best, or which parts of some please you best. But whatever you've drawn and however you feel about it, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.